Hello, everybody. Welcome to Pearls of Wisdom. Today with Suchada, with Navasit and Katharina. And we have another hot topic. I feel like the questions get more and more difficult each time we have a new topic here. So, okay, you go ahead and you ask the questions.
Okay, we were all taught and we were told, and sometimes I think we naturally feel that we need to care for others, like the family members, friends, and on the, more wider environments like society and environment.
Yeah.
But I feel that when we base our doing, thinking, and feeling on this caring to others, I feel we kind of drift away from our true self and our true courage. So, how can we balance caring and still maintain our authenticity and courage to react based on the true desire?
Yes, again, so a very difficult topic because again we have so much brainwash. And I will share the screen now, just go to the text. It is kind of easier to, okay, can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so the question was we were taught, told, and naturally feel. So this is three different things. Taught is brainwash. That is what is the society, religion, whatever, what we are taught and told is very often, like also from teachers, from family, whatever. This is also connected sometimes more on religion, sometimes more on society. And then we have the other point, naturally feel, and this is the key, naturally feel that we need to care for others, like family, friends, society, environment, etc. So it is really important to discriminate the few things. So again, the brainwash, what you are taught and what you're told is not really what you feel naturally. Otherwise, you would not mention it separately, right? So what you feel naturally, how much you should care for somebody, that is actually the right way to do it. What you're told very often goes into abuse. Now you are being made responsible that the people around you are feeling well. And if they are not feeling well, they blame it on you. Now let me just remind you of a case of a friend of us here, and this is absolute pure abuse. And I just call her now X, no? X had a good job, whatever. She had a cancer in the throat and lost her voice, right? And she healed herself. And after that, she also, and maybe mix up the timing a little bit. But anyway, she had a very good job, brought home a lot of money. And at one point, when she healed herself with that cancer, she had a spiritual awakening in that way and learned a lot about how to heal herself. And she was teaching laughter yoga and many other things. So she quit her job. And then the abuse started. Her parents abuse her, blame her, even if though she has a brother who could also care for the parents. But there came all that abuse that she is responsible and have to bring home money and whatever. Then with this little guest house that they don't make enough money and blah blah. So then it's really abuse. And in addition, the mother of her has always um, told her that she's not good enough. And this is probably somebody most everybody know. I had a similar thing when I moved into alternative therapy. My mother always thought that's not good enough. I would have had a good career, like making more money. And so the mother is actually bad mouthing her daughter in front of her daughter. So like grandmother, mother, daughter. So there is this absolute crazy abuse afterwards from her daughter's side, from her mother's side. That really is not caring anymore, but she still felt till the last time I was in contact with her that she has to be there and care. But the only way is you have to move out. You have to be identical to yourself, the higher self, the S self capital. If you just follow rules and regulations, you should do this, you should do that, and tolerate the abuse, first of all, you fall down in the consciousness level. You do not allow those who abuse you to raise to a higher consciousness, or at least to be confronted with what you really need and what they need too. Now they stop the abuse. And we have to be very, very careful. And here again, naturally, what you naturally feel that you need to care for others, not what you're told. Now, we are all grown-ups. We had a childhood when parents were supposed to care for us, which is a kind of a duty that we kind of sign on. And here we come to the free will again, a duty that we sign on when we have children. So we have especially, say, 14 years that we need to care for the child, because that's in nature. Like a mother, whatever we find in nature is caring for their offsprings. But then comes a point where this child becomes an adult. And as an adult, you have to start to take responsibility for your actions. And then you have that phase of grown up that you're supposed to be responsible. You might have your own children, and you are then responsible for children, to care for your own children. And then you grow older. And like in a family that still works, the care is natural because of the love of each other. But not that kind of what ex tell me, but I love my parents. She does not. There is a love-hate relationship, which we call love-hate relationship, but that has in fact nothing to do with love, but with duty. We could say it's a duty-hate relationship that becomes out of it. It's like I owe my parents, I owe my whoever bring you up. No, you don't. There is a time that we receive, and then the parents, we have a time that we give. And this is the adult life that we care, that we give, but we still have to care for ourselves, because how can you give? Is again, like, how can you love anybody if you don't love yourself? And here we come again. How can you care really for others if you do not care for yourself? And if you go for that abuse and you get sick. And I mean, already at that time for this lady, she lost her voice. And this is already kind of significant enough. It's already symbolism enough that she does not speak up for herself. And that was the beginning. So the thing is now, we have to be very careful that we not going into abuse, that we stay within the field of true caring. So this is why when you do that caring that is not absolutely coming from your heart, from not just from any kind of duty or even abuse, that you feel you're moving away from your true self and you lose your courage, because in the moment of abuse and you give in, you become a coward, and a coward, then you lose your courage.
I think this day we don't know how to care ourselves.
Exactly.
I think someone would say, if we care too much on what we need, it means that we are selfish.
Yes, I know. You bet I know.
So what would you how can we, balance it?
Again, this has very, very much to do with the consciousness level, and you have to really always go and compare there, because like, how can you care for yourself if you have such a low consciousness level that you are totally not connected to yourself? You don't know what care is, neither care for yourself nor for anybody else. And again, this is another pattern of the controllers to keep us weak. Because if we are not caring for ourselves, we are weak, we're not strong. We lose our voice. This is the perfect example. We cannot stand up for ourselves. And in our whole environment, we become just like a puppet on a string. Now, see, the first thing is you have to figure out what is really your need. What do you really need? What do you really want? It is more like finding out what is what you need. We don't always get what we want, but that has again something to do with the free will and incarnation, because we also not aligned to our life purpose. So most people don't even know what they need. So see, you have the advantage with the astrology to really understand now slowly more and more about what is your life purpose. Once you know what is your life purpose, you know what you need. And then you have to fulfill your need first. And then when you are strong in your power, you can give. But what can you give if you have nothing? You just give your own energy away and you become weak and you become a coward. Yeah, exactly. Because you then don't have any more the courage to stand up and go again. We are in the blocked energy field of ice. Or gossip, then you have to find out some way of finding a little bit of satisfaction for yourself to make a life, but you constantly feel guilty.
Yeah, and that would be some situation like, okay, I know what I want, but I also know that if I'm like saying what I want, it would hurt the other person. And this
Why?
kind of feeling would lead to an awkward situation that we are not there to, speak out what I want.
Okay, now analyze that what you said. That would hurt somebody else. Why? Why does when you do what you want hurt somebody else? Why?
Because we have experienced that if this kind of situation has happened before.
Yeah, because they expect you to be in a certain way because of the other person's expectation.
Oh.
It has nothing to do with you. This person who is disappointed or whatever expect you to behave in a certain pattern, what they call care or whatever, it doesn't matter what they call it. And once you dare to do what you want and not what that person wants you to do, this is not hurting in that way their feeling. You hurt their pride, you hurt their ego, you hurt their expectation, because they do not let you be yourself.
I see, I see.
And when we suppress our want and need, I
Yes.
think, yeah, the other person would feel like they win.
Yes, exactly. And that gives them a satisfaction,
Yeah,
even
yeah.
if it's unconscious. But this gives them that satisfaction that you behave the way they expect you to behave.
And they will repeat this.
Yes.
Get what
But
they want.
give up. The moment you start to do what you want and you say, look, I'm sorry, but this is what I feel is right for me. And please do not expect me to be in your line. I have my own life. You can say that a few times and you will see they will give up. Once you are a step away, really, that they realize, no, that's over. I cannot tell her anymore what to do or whatever, then this will stop. But you have to stand up for yourself first, and then they will be hurt. But this is just hurt their ego because they don't get their way. This is like the behavior of a 5-year-old.
Mm.
Oh.
I think that still it's like going back to the same topic, courage.
Yes, exactly. It is courage, and it is also consciousness, because you need to get out of this state where you need to have the feedback from the others that you're good enough. Now, see, that's your underlying part. We are brought up in a program that we are not good enough. So what are we doing? We look for approval. We want to do it right for everybody to be good enough. And I tell you, you will never be good enough anyway for society and for those rules the moment you step out. But the moment you step out and you become authentic, you will automatically attract other people who are too. And your friendships will move. You might move away from others, and at one point you will see that those who have controlled you, that have been hurt or whatever, at one point, if they have a little bit consciousness left, they start to admire you, and they might be even start to try to be like you. They start to ask questions. How do you do that? And you are so strong, and things like that are coming up for those who are waking up. But like those in the really kind of gossip, negative energy, they will not, and we have to let them go again. You cannot carry their expectations along, and you cannot just conform to their expectation of who you should to be. You lose your authenticity, and you lose your power.
So, and would it help if we connect ourselves, and then we realize the boundary that
Yes.
we can
Yes.
do or cannot
Yeah.
do, and would this help in to caring
Yes.
for others?
And you have to just talk to those people first. I mean, in the beginning, like when they have certain expectations, you should do this and this. I said, I'm sorry, look, this is not resonating with me. And I really feel that this is your responsibility to solve this problem or whatever it is, And so slowly get back. And I would not fight or whatever about this. I just slowly withdraw and explain them why. I'm sorry, but this is not my responsibility. I believe that, and then you can argue. Then you can see if that person is listening or not. Like with friends, it's much easier. They just go and they're not friends with you anymore. They find their new circles. So just let them go and find your new circles. And this will happen automatically. But family is much more difficult.
Yeah. No, in my family, we have like a big family, six brothers and sisters. And when I'm the youngest,
oh yeah, that's
I feel like there are like authority, in the pattern of my family. It's like authority.
Yeah,
and
but now look at how old are you? How old are they?
Yeah.
You are not a child anymore. You're an adult woman. So you have to bounce back and say, okay, look, I'm sorry, I'm not the baby anymore. I have my own life. But you have to say it. And the moment you start to say it, they probably start to respect it. But if you don't stand up for yourself, you will always be the baby to be trampled on.
So it's baby step.
Yes.
You need to practice.
Well, it depends on you how big those baby steps will be, But it's really important that you tell them, look, I believe I have changed my life. I start to take responsibility, for example, also Like I don't want to go into allopathic medicine because it's my insight and my understanding that, for example, herbal medicine is better for me. I have better experience. So please, if you want to go there, go, but leave me out of it. You know, you always give the others the option to be themselves. That not to that you influence them. Don't have expectation on them. Don't do the same to them. So again, you just tell them, look, my experiences and what I have learned lately is this and this, and I'm not anymore what I was 10 years ago. And my experience is always also, especially that was also concerning family. I told them, like, for example, my brother, he has seen the workshops, he has been there when people were there and they talked to him because he's my brother. They think that he is on the same level. Completely not. He is somewhere completely else. But though people talk to him, he started more to understand my work, and he started more to appreciate and value it. So when you talk about it, and those who are on the brink to waking up, they will start to ask questions. And the others just let them. In a way, we can even go a step further. You don't even have the right to influence their decision. So whoever is influence your decision through, again, what we were told and taught that we have to do to care, they take away your free will.
What about caring for the society and community?
Well, this is the same topic, you know. Then again, we have to care because it's your country, you're born there. I should care for the country I was born. But I see all the corruption and all the stuff that's going on, and I don't want to be part of it. And this is something that probably, or not probably, most likely in the very near future will collapse. And because of all that corruption, of all that negativity that's going on now, that all our governments and most people on important places, they are so brainwashed, and only those who are so brainwashed even get into those positions. If you don't play the game, you never get into a position like that. And this is about to change it. All we can do is like, do not comply. Do not comply. You know, I'm going out now and I'm not wearing a mask. And I'm more or less the only person who does not. But I just do not comply. I don't do it. I have to be true to myself. Now it's not mandatory, so I don't wear it. When it was mandatory, I put it on just before I went into that shop, and then I put it under my nose, you know, But we all know that a mask doesn't help anything. So why should I wear one? To make me a headache, and that I have not enough oxygen, and to breathe in my bacteria and fungus and whatever is in the air. Because I know that a virus does not exist. It is very clear. Nobody ever has isolated a virus. So now again, question yourself, what do you think all these shots are based on when they have never isolated a virus? So start to think, start to spread, start to discuss with people. Don't tell them you have to believe me, but tell them there are facts out there. You can look at it, and it's all out there now. In the meantime, I collect now certain information I collect. So when people ask, I can send you some information.
So for the society and, you know, like the bigger picture, like environment, if we want to care, just do it as long as we naturally feel like we want to do something.
Yes.
And not what we were told or taught.
I mean, what can you do now? You can support the truth, right? But the truth is not the narrative of this society. So if you support the negative, destructive narrative of society, again, you move into being a coward. You don't have the courage to stand up, and you kind of go with the flow. So, I mean, the flow goes downwards in most cases, you know. So again, it takes character, it takes power, it takes self-care to stand up and hold your position and let the others flow by. You don't even need to swim against the stream, but just stand there strong and let the others go. And you know, my recommendation is, if you're in a very strict and very difficult environment, is just to withdraw a bit. No, don't be available all the time. Don't be available for their abuse. I know it's not easy, but it's possible again.
Yeah, we need to be strong.
Yeah, and do it in that way that you don't hurt yourself too much. You know, I mean, in the moment, it's very difficult to say. Sometimes I can really keep up my energy and my and fine, but there are moments I crash and I say, my God, how long is that still gonna go on? And how long can I still stand strong, you know? And this is absolutely natural as long as we are human beings, right?
Yeah. And also I just come up with one thing that for me, for my experience, I feel like when I am not satisfy others, so it means that not meet their expectation. So sometimes I feel hurt by myself.
Yeah, but again, that's because you have expectation towards others.
I see.
So you have also to give up to expect others to behave in a certain way. Like, for example, if your family is against the anti-vaxxers, you know, then okay, let them be there. I also expect certain people in my family, they should, why the heck did they get this shot? They should be intelligent enough to understand that something's wrong here. But they did it, and I had to back up. And I said, okay, it's their free will. They can do what they want. I have no right to interfere. Even my own children, they are grown-ups. But it's difficult.
It's difficult to put down the expectation.
Yes, very difficult, because again, that's the brainwash. That's our way to behave in this kind of society we live in. That's the whole narrative of what's going on in the world. And it is very much ego-based, you know, not based with our higher self, but the ego, that, you know, all the status symbols, the making money, to have a certain car, to have a certain TV, to have a certain whatever it is, that defines your status symbol. That is so deeply within us that it's not easy to get out. This is the first thing we have to let go. And move into the life that we really feel that is good for us. For me, it doesn't care if I drive a Toyota or a Ford or a Mercedes or whatever. I need a car that air condition works, yes. And I can turn on and drive, you know. And I need a car that is safe so far that I won't have problems. But I would never go for a status symbol car, because I have experienced that to have low profile is much, much better, because you don't stand out in that way and your life is much more simple.
Okay.
So it's all about, first of all, stop also all the expectation that you have on others, and start to just care for yourself. What would you do in this moment? What do you need in the moment? you need just your peace and your quiet,
Mm-hmm.
then go away from the others and tell them, I'm sorry, look, I'm not in the position right now to give you something because I'm tired and I'm worn out and I have nothing to give.
Mm.
Because otherwise you give and you give and you give, and at the end you have nothing left.
I want you to explain more, like if some I think most would feel like if we care so much for ourselves, it would mean we're selfish. So what's the difference between being selfish and being true to ourselves?
Well, this is kind of a fine line sometimes, you know. First of all, you care for yourself to be well, to be well. Also, it's also about the food, about everything that you have enough rest and everything. And once you feel good in your own skin, especially as a grown up, I told you first we have a phase, others take care, now you come a phase where you grow up in this phase that you become yourself. Once you're an adult, maybe you become a parent, you start to care for others. So the caring for others, as long as this is aligned with your understanding of life purpose. Like, you don't even need to know really the path or whatever of another person, but you generally know that, for example, to spoil somebody too much is never good, you know, or to just run for every whim, because there's a lot of people who get their attention through this kind of blackmail. Oh, I have so much headache. You have to do this and that for me. So why don't you first find out why this person has a headache all the time? And you know, I mean, you know, thinking too much and all that kind of stuff that is connected with it, or it can be a physical thing. Then we try to help the person to find out what's wrong with them. But always try to do it within the perspective that you still have your own life. And again, there you have to set boundaries and you have to define them. And the only way to get there is when you talk to people and tell them that, I'm sorry, I cannot do that because I have my own work to do. It is especially also sometimes important that you move out, that you move out of a situation that is within the situation already abuse. Like especially family companies and stuff like that, that, you know, sometimes you may be able to go back once you are strong enough when you come back. But like, I see also another lady, she was abroad for many years. She came back and she was very funny, very kind of, you know, powerful lady. She was 15 years altogether abroad, part of her education abroad. Now she came back and is with her parents. And you know what? I was lately having lunch with her. I don't know anymore what to talk with that woman. She's completely now under the hood of her parents, and she goes so far that her little dog is more or less her son now, you know. She doesn't have a life anymore. She's succumbing the family business, blah blah blah, and the personality that came back at that time is not there anymore. She gave up her life. And it's sad to see, but there's nothing I can do, you know. And again, everybody has to do that, him or herself. But we have to understand what true care is. True care is love, and what you do from love and not from duty. we have part of duty, as I said, when we have children, that there is maybe even the, when you have to change their diapers and stuff like that. This is not maybe so really fun, but you do it because of love, and you care for that child, that it feels well. Just think about this, and afterwards, when parents are old, that you care for them, if the situation is right, that you can help them to deal with the older age. But that does not mean that you take away from them the responsibility they have themselves. And very often you see that older people become very tyrannic, because I see that in the life of this lady I just mentioned. And then they start to kind of be mother and father again, and treat the 30, 40, whatever year-old child as a baby again, because they kind of lose the purpose. Once they are retired, they need some other purpose. So we have to help older people to find purpose in life. And I can give you a sample in Switzerland. When my mother, that is many years ago, they had an organization, Seniors for Seniors. So they were all in the age of 65 onwards or something like that, when they were already not working anymore. And they had a group that, for example, they cared for their elders. So, for example, if one lady was not able to feed herself anymore, they brought food. And of course, there is an exchange. She paid for the food because she has her pension. My mother, for example, it became too difficult for her to work in the garden. So one of the seniors came twice a week for lawn moving and working in the garden for 4 hours a day. And they had a certain amount how they paid. So that was a well functioning organization, and they took care of each other. So the 50s, the 65, 70-year-old or older, they took care of the 80 whatever old. So this is that generation taking care of themselves, because all their children's between in the adult life of working, they did not really have the time to also completely care for their parents. And that's the right way. Because if you just make your, like also this lady, she's working now in the office in the business. She said to me, well, I have maybe about 2 hours work a day, because I just have to hold a certain position and be there. Life is completely boring, it's not even a challenge. And so she always have to pretend to be busy, because of her, she cannot make that the employees see that in fact she has actually nothing to do, or just like a couple hours. It's such a difficult situation. So we have to help, we have to bring in ideas, we have to be creative to help to shift society, to bring in like an idea, like something like this, older care for older, or seniors for seniors. I really like the way how they presented it. Somebody has to make the to talk to the people. Why don't we do something like that? Bring new ideas. And then caring is easy, because it's also, look, in my age, I think very different than I was thinking when I was 30, or when I was even 50, when I was a child. And once the kind of age group that is more or less in a similar situation can care much better for each other, because they understand each other. Because you have also a different life purpose when you're 40 and when you're 70. Absolutely, you cannot compare it even. So I would say as a summary is like we have to be very careful that what they call care is not moving into abuse, and that you really care from inside out, that you be creative what you could do in certain situation, stand up for yourself, tell them your truths and your needs, and don't fulfill other people's expectation. That's their expectation, has nothing to do with you. Okay, so I think we let it be with this in the moment. And for our viewers, please, if you have questions, send them to us. We might be able to go in deeper into certain topics. And if you like the video, please give us a thumbs up, share it, recommend it, and we'll see you in our next video next week.
Okay, thank you so much. See you.
Bye bye, everybody. Have a nice weekend.